content is brought to you by Long Island Entrepreneurs Group and Sobel Media. LIEG is a networking group here on Long Island. What we are is a group of professionals that have come together to help ourselves. Sobel Media is a digital media connections company. Wendy Marks, who writes for fastcompany.com, said a great thing, and I love the words. To know Bill Sobel is to be part of an interconnected world of endless opportunity. Bill's a master connector. He knows practically everyone who matters in the media and entertainment spaces. Bill runs major media events in New York. He's got a fabulously popular blog that you should be reading and sending off to your prospects as a touch point, because you're going to look smart and connected and wonderful if you do that. He's a guest lecturer at NYU, New York Institute of Tech, State U at Albany. He's on the faculty of Brooklyn's Polytechnic University. Here's one of my favorite quotes from Bill, and then I'm going to turn this over to him, because I think this is one we really can all relate to. Personal branding is all about making yourself as marketable as possible. Don't be fooled if you're working for somebody else. You're always working for yourself, and you need to keep yourself on the edge of everything. Help me welcome Bill Sobel.
Talking about. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for asking me here. I'm just going to say this. I love Adrienne Miller, by the way. Let's give Adrienne a big hand. I haven't told my wife, by the way, that yet, Adrienne, so we'll keep that our little secret. I guess you know all about me, so I'm not saying much about myself, except to say that yesterday was an interesting day, which I'm sure Shelley could appreciate. You'll hear more from him later. Yesterday was a big change in this country. Anybody not know what happened yesterday? Okay. Yes, I did not go to the dentist. I had a meeting in the morning in Manhattan. This just tells you what my life was like. I had a meeting in the morning in Manhattan. And on the train ride back, I cracked open my MacBook, plugged in my headphones, and I actually watched as all the dignitaries headed down the steps of the Capitol building to sit down. George W. Bush, the late great, the various senators and congressmen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I got to the Bethpage train station when I realized that my 17-year-old daughter had the car, so I had to take a cab home. So fortunately, the cab driver was listening to the oath of office. So I went from basically watching and listening to the preliminary stuff on my MacBook, got into the cab, and listened to the oath of office in the cab on the radio. Got into my house just before Mr. Obama did his speech, his inauguration speech. I watched that on traditional television, start to finish. When that was over, I walked into the kitchen, made myself a cup of coffee, and I kept MSNBC on my laptop the rest of the day while keeping my Twitter screen open. Anybody know what Twitter is? Just by a show of hands, anybody know what Twitter is? Wow, Shelley.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Twitter.
Okay, good. And it just goes to show you, media is all around you. But it's not about entertainment anymore. It's about business. It's about us doing business with each other, with our clients, with our contemporaries, with our associates, with our friends, with our family. It's all around us. And the more you know about what's happening out there, the better you'll be at your jobs and in your life. Trust me, I have a 17-year-old. I do lots of texting. And on that note, let me introduce our speaker. I know everything about Shelly Palmer, but just to be safe, Shelly's assistant Amanda said, read this, don't go crazy. And Shelly signed off on this. Our speaker, Shelly Palmer, is a true Renaissance man, an award-winning writer, director, producer, and composer. He is also a technologist, an inventor, a leading expert on forces that are shaping the future of technology, media, and entertainment. He is president of the National Academy of TV Arts and Sciences, New York, the organization that bestows the coveted Emmy Awards. Mr. Palmer is also the author of Television Disrupted, The Transition from Network to Networked TV, the seminal book about technology, technology. He is a technology columnist for CNN.com, Jack Myers Reports, and a featured blogger on Huffington Post. You've heard his theme music on shows like Live with Reese's and Kelly on Spin City. You've seen his productions like Hot Pop and Midnight Money Madness. He is the managing director of Advanced Media Ventures Group and the host of Media Bites with Shelly Palmer. Before I introduce you, we'll also be raffling off books at the end of the event. I'm on Facebook, Now What? It's a great book, by the way. If you don't win it, you should get it and go to my blog or ask me, I'll tell you how you can get it. Birthing the Elephant, the woman's go-to guide for overcoming the big challenges of launching a business. So we hope women win that. And of course, TV's Disrupted, Shelly Palmer's book, which is in its second edition, and it's a great book. It is my pleasure to introduce my dear friend and your speaker for this evening, Shelton Lee Palmer, Shelly Palmer.
I'm a FOBS. If you don't know what that means, FOBS is friend of Bill Sobel. Bill's networking breakfast, you have to be a FOBS, and if you weren't when you walk in, you certainly are when you leave. Bill, thank you. That introduction was read brilliantly, and I'll thank Amanda for writing it. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, this is going to go that way, because if it doesn't, I'm going to get really angry. And you're supposed to laugh at my jokes, and I'll cue you if you don't think they're funny, so you'll know. Thanks for coming out tonight. Yesterday was kind of interesting. Yesterday we saw the first broadband candidacy and the first internet president get elected and take the oath of office. If you guys remember, and some people in this room look like you might just be on the right side of the socio-techno divide to remember, Kennedy-Nixon was the first televised debate between two presidential candidates. And at the end of that debate, it was kind of interesting because people who heard it on the radio said that Nixon won. People who watched it on TV said that Kennedy won. Kennedy was tan, he was professionally made up, he was in a suit, he was a good-looking guy. Nixon refused to put on makeup because he thought it was for sissies and was sweating profusely. People who saw it on TV thought that Kennedy won. Substantively, Nixon won, but in the age of television, Kennedy won. And I thought it was interesting because when Obama and that other guy, McCain, now that was funny, and you're supposed to laugh. If you don't do that, I'm going to be really bummed. When Obama and McCain squared off, they squared off in a lot of places. They squared off in the television set because that's what the modern currency of a candidate is about. After Kennedy-Nixon, you had to be a television candidate. Just like MTV killed the radio star for MTV in 1980. Some people will know for that, right? You had to have television as one of the main things you did perfectly to be a candidate. They were both doing TV just fine. But the first real internet presidential campaign happened this time, and Obama decimated McCain on that subject. He took the socio-techno divide, which this year is approximately 35 years old, and I'll tell you how you can tell what side of it you're on, because age is just a kind of a number, right? In the world in which we live, 40 is the new 60, 30 is the new 18, I don't know, orange is the new black. I always get confused about what's what, but I know for a fact that the socio-techno divide is real, and here's how it goes. If you come home and remember fondly a day when you kick back on the couch and you would watch Gilligan's Island reruns and you'd be chowing down on Cracker Jack and drinking Tang because you're a space-age kid, then you're a TV generation person above the socio-techno divide. If you come home and you kick back playing a first-person quad-split shooter with some people from around the world on Xbox 360, you're drinking Red Bull, maybe with a little vodka in it, chowing down on Doritos and chocolate-covered coffee beans, you're on the other side of the socio-techno divide. That's sort of the leisure time kickback dividing line. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, which is entirely possible, well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. There's hope, but we're going to get to that.